Alright, hi guys. Today we are working on Chapter 2, Section 1. Our essential questions: what is the difference between abiotic factors and biotic factors? What are the interactions between the levels of biological communities? And what is the difference between an organism's habitat and its niche or niche? Either pronunciation is correct. Here is the vocabulary for this section. You should have completed that already. If you have not, pause the video, go complete your vocabulary activity, and come back. Ecology. Organisms depend on other organisms and non-living factors in their environment for survival. Ecology is the scientific discipline in which the relationships among living organisms and the interaction the organisms have with their environment are studied. So basically, living things and how they interact with their environment. Ecologists observe, experiment, and model using a variety of tools and methods. The biosphere is a portion of the Earth that supports life. It includes land masses, freshwater, saltwater, lower portions of the atmosphere, and areas beneath Earth's surface. The biosphere is anywhere that living things can be found. Biotic factors are living factors in an organism's environment. Interactions among organisms are necessary for the survival of species in the same geographic location. They interact with each other and they depend upon each other. When one species declines or starts having problems, it has a ripple effect through that environment. Abiotic factors are non-living factors in an organism's environment. Organisms adapt to survive in the abiotic factors present in their natural environment. So they adapt to survive in a certain temperature, at a certain altitude, where there's water present, where there's little water present. They adapt to those abiotic factors. Levels of organization. The biosphere is too large and complex to study as a whole. So, ecologists divide the biosphere into levels of organization to study. The levels are organism, population, biological community, ecosystem, biome, and biosphere. The levels increase in complexity as the numbers and interactions between organisms increase. Organisms, populations, and biological communities. The lowest level of organization is an individual organism. Organisms of a single species that share the same geographic location at the time make up a population. So, I could set the geographic location as Arcadia, where I live. Okay, I might be looking at the number of squirrels in town. So, my population would be the number of squirrels living in Arcadia at this precise moment. A biological community is a group of interacting populations that occupy the same geographic area at the same time. So this might be squirrels and oak trees. Okay, those are two different populations that interact with each other. So the community would be squirrels and oak trees in Arcadia because we got to include the geographic area. Ecosystems, biomes, and the biosphere. An ecosystem is a biological community and all of the abiotic factors that affect it. So, all of the living things in an area and the non-living things like rocks, soil, water, air, temperature, those would be the ecosystem. A biome is a large group of ecosystems that share the same climate and have similar types of communities. Ecosystem interactions. A habitat is an area where an organism lives. A niche or niche, both pronunciations are acceptable, is the role or position that an organism has in its environment. Community interactions. Competition. Competition occurs when more than one organism uses a resource at the same time. So this could be competition over water, or competition over area to build a nest. Competition is stronger when resources are scarce. So when there's not a lot of water, organisms are going to fight over that water a lot more. Predation is the act of one organism pursuing and consuming another organism for food. The organism that pursues the other is the predator, and the organism being pursued is the prey. Community interactions. Symbiotic relationships. Symbiosis is the close relationship that exists when two or more species live together. There are three main types of symbiosis that we're going to talk about. Mutualism is when both organisms benefit. Commensalism, when one organism benefits and the other is neither helped nor harmed. And parasitism, when one organism benefits at the expense of the other. We're going to talk more in depth about these things later on in class. So, a review of our essential questions. What is the difference between an abiotic and biotic factor? What are the interactions between the levels of biological communities? And what is the difference between an organism's habitat and its niche? Hopefully you can answer these three questions after viewing the video. Also, at the bottom is the vocabulary terms. If you did not complete them in class or at the beginning of the video, please pause it and do that now.